Here are some interesting facts and historical context surrounding the Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. 1. Set in Puritan New England. The Scarlet Letter is set in 17th-century Puritan Massachusetts, a society that emphasized strict religious morality and severe punishment for sin. The Puritans believed in public shaming and rigid rules of behavior, which is reflected in Hester Prynne's punishment. This backdrop highlights the conflict between individualism and societal norms. 2. Inspired by Hawthorne's ancestry. Nathaniel Hawthorne had a personal connection to the Puritan past. His great-great-grandfather, John Hathorne, was one of the judges in the Salem witch trials of 1692. Hawthorne was troubled by this dark legacy and added a W to his surname to distance himself from it. The Scarlet Letter can be seen as a critique of the moral rigidity and judgmental nature of his ancestors' Puritan society. 3. Romanticism movement. The novel is a product of the American Romantic movement, which emphasized emotion, individualism, and nature over rigid reason and tradition. Hawthorne explored the psychological complexity of his characters, focusing on inner moral struggles, guilt, and sin rather than simply condemning or praising their actions. 4. Symbolism of the Scarlet Letter. The scarlet, that Hester is forced to wear as punishment for adultery is a central symbol in the book. While it initially symbolizes shame and sin, over time it takes on different meanings. For some, it represents Hester's strength and resilience. The letter also symbolizes how society imposes labels and meaning on individuals. 5. Public reaction and success. The Scarlet Letter, published in 1850, was Hawthorne's first major success and is considered one of the greatest works of American literature. The novel's focus on sin, guilt, and redemption resonated with readers in a time of shifting cultural values in America. Although initially criticized by some for its dark and serious tone, it became a classic due to its depth and exploration of moral complexity. 6. Hawthorne's critique of Puritanism. Hawthorne critiqued the harshness of puritanical views of sin and morality, portraying the damaging effects of public shaming and the repression of natural human desires. He explored how guilt and hidden sins, as seen in Reverend Dimmesdale, can destroy a person's soul. This critique reflects Hawthorne's broader skepticism about moral absolutism and societal judgment. 7. Hester Prynne, a radical female character. Hester Prynne is considered one of the first strong, independent female characters in American literature. Her dignity, strength, and refusal to conform to societal expectations are remarkable for a woman in the 19th century. Hester's resilience and intelligence have made her a symbol of feminist strength in literary analysis. 8. Influence of Transcendentalism. Hawthorne was associated with the Transcendentalist movement, which included thinkers like Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau. Transcendentalism emphasized individualism, intuition, and the connection to nature, themes that appear in the Scarlet Letter. While Hawthorne wasn't fully aligned with the movement, the novel's focus on personal integrity and natural morality shows its influence. 9. Commentary on Guilt and Redemption. The book delves into the idea that guilt and sin are complex and personal matters, not always visible to others. While Hester's sin is public, Reverend Dimmesdale suffers from private guilt, and Roger Chillingworth's obsession with revenge becomes its own kind of sin. Hawthorne challenges the notion of simplistic good versus evil by portraying moral ambiguity. 10. A reflection of Hawthorne's political views. Published just before the American Civil War, The Scarlet Letter can be read as Hawthorne's subtle commentary on the intense moral conflicts and social divisions of his time, especially concerning issues like slavery. Hawthorne was wary of moral fanaticism in any form, whether it was puritanical repression or the abolitionist fervor of his era. 11. Hawthorne's time at the Salem Custom House. Before writing The Scarlet Letter, Hawthorne worked as a surveyor at the Salem Custom House, where he handled documents related to the shipping industry. The introductory section of the novel, titled The Custom House, reflects his experiences there. In it, he introduces the idea of having discovered Hester's story through old documents, adding a layer of historical authenticity to the narrative. 12. The role of shame in Puritan society. Public punishment and shame were integral aspects of Puritan legal and social systems. The scaffold scenes in the novel are based on real practices in Puritan New England, where offenders were subjected to public humiliation as part of their punishment. This reflects the period's emphasis on communal morality and the importance of maintaining the purity of the society through visible correction of sin. 13. American society in the 19th century. The Scarlet Letter was published during a time of great social change in America. Issues like women's rights, abolitionism, and the role of religion in society were hotly debated. The novel's exploration of sin, guilt, and redemption can be seen as a reflection of the broader anxieties about individual freedom, morality, and the role of religion in governing personal behavior during this era. 14. Hawthorne's struggle with commercial success. Although The Scarlet Letter became one of the most celebrated works of American literature, Hawthorne struggled with commercial success for much of his career. The novel's success was a turning point in his life, allowing him to achieve financial stability and artistic recognition. Before The Scarlet Letter, Hawthorne published several stories and novels, but many of them did not achieve the same level of success. 15. Criticism from Hawthorne's contemporaries. While The Scarlet Letter was praised for its depth and complexity, some of Hawthorne's contemporaries were critical of its moral ambiguity and dark tone. For example, the novel's sympathetic portrayal of Hester, an adulteress, and its harsh treatment of Puritan society were controversial. Some readers found the novel too pessimistic and morally challenging for the time. 16. The influence of 19th century feminism. The Scarlet Letter appeared during the early stages of the American women's rights movement, which began gaining traction in the mid-19th century. Hester Prynne's strength, independence, and resilience make her a proto-feminist figure in American literature. Her refusal to conform entirely to societal expectations and her ability to live independently raise questions about gender roles and the treatment of women. 17. The Scarlet Letter's critique of hypocrisy. One of the key themes in The Scarlet Letter is the hypocrisy of society, particularly in its treatment of sin. While Hester is publicly shamed, Dimmesdale hides his sin and is revered by the same society that condemns her. Hawthorne critiques the duplicity and moral rigidity of Puritan society, which fails to recognize the complex inner lives of individuals. 18. The use of Gothic elements. Hawthorne incorporated Gothic elements into The Scarlet Letter, a genre known for its focus on dark, mysterious settings, psychological torment, and the supernatural. The forest scenes, Chillingworth's transformation into a vengeful figure, and Dimmesdale's secret guilt all evoke a sense of Gothic mystery and moral horror. This added to the novel's intense emotional atmosphere and sense of foreboding. 19. Symbolism of nature. Nature plays a symbolic role in The Scarlet Letter, often contrasting with the harshness of Puritan society. The forest, for example, is a place of freedom and emotional expression, where Hester and Dimmesdale can speak openly about their feelings. The rosebush outside the prison, which Hawthorne mentions early in the novel, symbolizes both beauty and resilience in the face of suffering and serves as a symbol of hope and natural morality. 20. Influence of the Salem witch trials. The Salem witch trials, in which Hawthorne's ancestor participated, likely influenced the themes of judgment, sin, and public morality in The Scarlet Letter. The witch trials were a dark period in Puritan history where hysteria and public fear led to wrongful accusations and brutal punishments. Although the novel is not about witchcraft, the social dynamics of scapegoating and public condemnation echo the trials. 21. Ambiguity in Hawthorne's moral philosophy. Hawthorne does not present clear-cut moral lessons in The Scarlet Letter. Instead, he creates a complex exploration of sin, guilt, and redemption that challenges simplistic moral judgments. Dimmesdale's secret guilt and Hester's public shame create a tension between private sin and public morality, leading readers to question the true meaning of sin and forgiveness. 22. Early critique of American individualism. The Scarlet Letter can be seen as an early critique of the developing American ethos of rugged individualism. Hester, through her isolation and rejection of societal norms, becomes a symbol of individual strength. However, The novel also explores the loneliness and cost of living outside of society's expectations, questioning the balance between personal freedom and social belonging. 23. Literary influence on later American writers. The Scarlet Letter had a profound influence on later American writers, particularly those exploring themes of moral complexity and social criticism. Authors like Henry James, Herman Melville, a close friend of Hawthorne, and even 20th century writers like William Faulkner drew on Hawthorne's psychological depth and exploration of guilt and sin in their own work. 24. Adaptations and cultural legacy. Over the years, The Scarlet Letter has been adapted into numerous films, stage productions, and even operas. Its cultural legacy extends beyond literature, influencing discussions about gender, morality, and societal judgment. The iconic image of the Scarlet A remains a powerful symbol of both shame and defiance in American culture.